Hey, what's going on, everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and I am back. Back from Florida, back from vacation, back from Galaxy's Edge, which I had a lot of fun at. I'm happy to be back because I missed you all. Well, I missed making content. I somewhat missed playing World of Warships. I can't say that it was a huge loss not being able to play, but it was good to get back and throw some rounds out there. This one in particular was the second one I played since getting home, and had a pretty good round, almost 200,000 damage, and my new favorite ship, the Schlieffen. But this is not going to be the focus of today's video. The Schlieffen is not the focus. The focus is what I missed while I was gone in 2 weeks. And, you know, while I didn't play, I kind of kept an eye on the goings-ons of the community and the things that were happening in World of Warships and the dev blog and everything else. You know, I had to. You got to keep in touch with stuff to see what's going on. So I noticed two big things happen, and the first are the tweaks to submarines. And that's going to be the main point and the main focus of this video. And not the tweaks themselves, because that's old news, they've been out for 2 weeks. But just my takeaways from that, from watching afar, and what I think about it. The second thing is regarding the New Year's crates, the Santa's crates that everyone's been getting. And, you know, I've noticed people have been very, very happy about them. And this is going to kind of lead into the submarine situation. You know, people have been plunking down some money. I've seen a lot of people say, well, I said I'd never put money down on Wargaming stuff again, but I decided to, or I used my free crates that I got, and I wound up getting this. And people have posted some amazing hauls. Numerous premium ships, like tons of them. To the point that I'm kind of shocked. It feels like the events of a long time ago, like the Halloween events, where you used to get a lot of cool stuff. I mean, people have been pulling out some amazing ships, constellations. I would argue that that's not an amazing ship, but people have been getting good ships, small ones, things that have been kind of tucked away and I haven't seen for a while. So, you know, if that's you, if you fall into this category, congratulations. And you know, at face value, it looks like a really cool thing that Wargaming has done. And I would agree. It's nice. It's nice rewarding your fan base with stuff like this. And, you know, I have to say, good on Wargaming for making it this beneficial to people to actually be involved with it this year. I mean, I think, I don't want to sound entitled, but I think the player base deserves this. But, and I know this isn't necessarily true, but there's a part of me that also thinks that this is somewhat of a smoke and mirrors type of thing. I think in a way it's serving as a diversion, whether deliberate or not. If it's deliberate, it wouldn't surprise me. If not, it's a well-timed diversion, which leads us into the submarine situation. And like I said, I paid attention to the dev blogs. I saw the tweaks to the submarines, that they're increasing the hit points of the submarines only to increase the damage caused to submarines, which it might seem counterproductive, but I feel like they're making submarines even stronger. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. I'm just going to come out with the bottom line here. Here's your bluff, the bottom line up front. I don't think submarines should be in random battles. I don't think they should be in ranked battles either. I think they should have their own game mode if they're to stay in the game. And that's that. I do not think they fit into the game right now. And it's become abundantly clear that Wargaming doesn't care. They're going to shoehorn submarines in any way they can, and they're just going to make them work. Because they've got too much time and money invested in them. They've been at this for what? 2, 3, 4 years? Probably close to 4 years at this point. From the initial inception. Maybe even longer, because I know how long it takes to add something like this. And, you know, we've been testing forever. So they're going to make it work, even if we don't want it. Because if they don't make it work, that's failure. And they don't want that failure on their hands. Kind of like the carrier rework. Except, I feel this is even worse. I just am not on board with it. So, in a way, you're getting all this cool stuff for New Year's, and it's deflecting, or at least diverting your attention away from these changes coming to submarines and the fact that they are staying, and they're getting massive changes. Now, herein lies the problem, because I know a lot of you have played submarines, and a lot of you enjoyed them, and I don't want to take away from your enjoyment. I mean, if you like them, you like them. That's cool. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't like them. It's the same with aircraft carriers. Some of you like them, some of you don't. I personally don't think they belong in the game as it stands or the way they are. And the reason for that is I feel that submarines are going to become what the old school aircraft carriers were before the rework. I feel that they are going to be one of these ships that has such a wide skill gap. They might not affect the battle outcome as much as the old school aircraft carriers did, but I have a feeling that there's going to be some players that can get in a submarine and absolutely wreck face, and then there's going to be some that try to play them like the old school aircraft carriers and just can't. And there's going to be an imbalance when you get one on one side and the other type of player on the other. And it's going to hurt one team, not the other. And again, like I said, it might not have as large an impact as the old school aircraft carriers, but nonetheless, it's going to be painful. And I think a lot of us are feeling that pain of submarines right now, and battleships especially battleships. And here's where the Schlieffen comes in that I'm playing. And of course, I didn't have this issue this round, but I have in the past. Ships that have a limited number of repairs and are restricted to that are going to hurt the most. Because if these high-tier submarines are constantly locking onto you, and you have no option to break that lock, you're essentially wasting repair that you're going to need when you catch fire down the road because you're a brawler and you're going to get put on fire a lot, multiple fires. You're essentially wasting your repairs, and you can't use them again. And I hate that. And let's face it, these high-tier submarines can spew out a ton of torpedoes. And if you're in a situation where you're brawling and you had to use one of your repairs because you got 2 or 3 fires put on you, and there just happens to be a submarine near you, and they ping you once and they ping you twice, and then you see 6 torpedoes coming your way, there's nothing you can do about it. And I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling of helplessness, not knowing where they are, that they can just pop up at any point. Because, let's face it, it's still somewhat hard to track them, somewhat hard to find them. I just personally think that once players figure submarines out, especially better players, they're going to have a really, really big advantage. And I just don't think that fits in the current game. I mean, we have come so far that the game is hardly recognizable compared to what it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago at this point. And while that's not a bad thing at face value, I mean, all games should evolve, and especially a free-to-play game, that's fine if it's done wisely. I mean, we can argue about the incursion of HE and how bad it's made the game. I know smoke was a huge issue at first. This is a different kind of issue because you're adding a new class of warfare, a new type of ship to the game that just really doesn't belong, has a completely different fighting style historically, and you're trying to shoehorn it into the game now, even when a lot of players have said that it doesn't work. I know we like to moan about things that we feel don't work, but I have seen an overwhelming amount of players say that this does not work. And you would think at that point you would take a look at it. And obviously Wargaming did, but their solution was to increase the hit points of the sub. The solution was to make subs even more long-lasting, even stronger as it looks. So I don't know where the logic in that is, other than, we're just going to rush these into production, rush them into the game, hope we can squeeze out some more profit before ultimately things somewhat implode. Which, until this holiday event, the player base has been down. We've been tracking downwards on the amount of players playing. Of course, that changes when the holiday comes along, the snowflake events. People come out of the woodworks to play again, but I don't know what's going to happen with submarines become the norm. I just don't. Like I said, I don't think they belong in the game, and Wargaming is going to make sure they get into the game. So those are just my thoughts. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Hope you all are going to have a great New Year or the holiday season, whatever you celebrate this time of year. That being said, I want to know your thoughts on Submarine. If you could tell Wargaming one thing right now, if you could say something to them face to face, what would you tell them about submarines? What would you say to do with submarines? Would you keep them in the game as is? Would you limit them to certain types of battles only, perhaps co-op or something similar? or would you get rid of them completely? I want to know your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments section of this video. If you're a longtime follower but haven't subbed yet, be sure to do so. And I just hope you all are doing wonderful. I will catch you all later. Zoop out.